Hey everyone, ready to climb English Mountain? We're talking fluency today. That feeling of really owning the language and better yet, doing it in a way that you stick with, making progress every single day. Our inspiration, this amazing English teacher on YouTube, her passion is just contagious.
What I love is she doesn't just give tips, she shares her whole journey. And those stories, those struggles and triumphs, man, they're powerful for learners.
She even compares it to climbing a mountain, like daunting at first, right? But every step, even the tiny ones, you're going higher. And her story, wow, she had financial issues, family got sick, even her school closed down at one point. But she never gave up on becoming a teacher.
Talk about resilience, huh? It's so easy to get discouraged when things get tough, but she's proof that setbacks, well, they're part of it. They can make you stronger, even more determined.
Absolutely. And there's this moment where she almost quit during teacher training, felt totally inadequate. Her classmates were younger, more fluent. But then she thought about her students, how excited they were to learn. Giving up on herself meant giving up on them too.
Powerful stuff. It's all about finding your why, that deep reason. It's fuel for when motivation dips, trust me. What's yours? Hold on to that. It'll get you through the rough patches.
So true. Okay, let's get practical. She lays out 5 key strategies, each one of the student's success story. Talk about inspiring. First up, speak as much as you can. Sounds simple, but so many learners get stuck there.
Yeah, she uses Oli as an example, this student who is super shy, terrified of making mistakes. So she had him start small, basic phrases like, "Hello, my name is Oli," just building confidence gradually.
And it worked. He started with friends, then strangers, even volunteered to introduce himself to the whole class. Talk about a confidence boost, right? It reminds us you don't have to be perfect to start speaking. Mistakes, they're how we learn, how we grow.
It's amazing what small, consistent things can do. Even if you're not in an English-speaking place, think about ways to speak more. Find a language partner online, a conversation group. Even record yourself for a few minutes each day. Little things make a difference.
For sure. Next, learn new words with fun activities. This is where it gets interesting. She tells the story of Miriam struggling to memorize vocabulary like we all do.
Oh yeah, vocabulary, the classic struggle. It feels like endless lists to memorize, so boring. But this teacher, she had a cool approach.
She had Miriam make a picture dictionary. For each new word, draw a picture. It turned vocab practice into this fun, creative thing. It wasn't just enjoyable. Miriam remembered the words better because, well, you're using more of your senses.
Exactly. It's about finding methods that fit you. Visual learner, picture dictionaries, flashcards, more hands-on, try movement, role-playing with your words. Make it fun, that's the key.
Okay, third method, listen every day. This one hit home for me. She talks about Reza, who really struggled to understand spoken English. It was too fast. He just felt lost.
Yeah, a lot of people feel that, overwhelmed by how fast native speakers talk. It's like trying to crack a code.
Exactly. But our teacher didn't let him give up. She encouraged him to make English listening part of his day, even just for a few minutes.
Consistency again, right? Like building a muscle. The more you hear those English sounds and how it all flows, the more your brain starts to get it.
So Reza started small, with English songs, cartoons, right? At first, just a few words here and there, but he kept at it. Moved on to simple videos with subtitles, pausing, repeating until it made sense.
That's immersion in action. Surround yourself with the language, even passively. Your brain is soaking it all up. Sounds, rhythms, new words, everything.
And his progress just from that listening habit was incredible. Went from lost to understanding conversations, even teaching phrases to his friends. Best part, he found English podcasts about his favorite sport, football.
That's it. Find the fun stuff within your learning journey. Music, movies, podcasts, audiobooks, whatever. Make it something you enjoy, something that sparks your interest.
For sure. Ready for method 4? Practice writing short sentences. This really resonated with Sarah, this student who was intimidated by writing in English, thought she could never write a good sentence.
Writing can feel super vulnerable in another language, can it? Like all your insecurities, your grammar struggles, it's all right there on the page.
Absolutely. But this teacher, she had a great way to make it less scary. She told Sarah, forget the novel, just write 1 sentence each day.
Love that. No need to aim for perfection right away. Small, consistent steps, that's what matters.
And that's what Sarah did. She started super basic. Today is sunny. I like my cat. Might sound simple, but each sentence was a win, a building block.
Building that foundation of confidence, one brick at a time.
And those sentences grew, got longer, more complex. She wrote about her family, her dreams, even started a journal in English. Eventually, wrote a letter to a friend, all in English, full of beautiful sentences.
It shows you what consistent effort can do and what happens when you overcome that fear of not being perfect.
Totally. All right, the final method. This one's big. Believe in yourself. Sounds cheesy, but it's the foundation for everything else.
The secret ingredient, right. Without that belief that you can do it, setbacks and self-doubt will knock you off course.
Totally. She talks about Ahad, a student with zero confidence in his English. He'd say, English is too hard, or I'll never learn it. But she refused to let him stay negative.
I love that. We all need someone to remind us what we're capable of, especially when we can't see it ourselves.
She made small weekly goals for him, learn 5 new words, write 3 sentences. Every time he did it, she celebrated, reminded him how far he'd come.
It's so important to recognize those small wins, you know? It builds momentum, self-belief.
And slowly, Ahad started believing. Participated more in class, answered questions, even spoke in front of everyone. He went from the most hesitant to a top student, inspiring others with his confidence.
A perfect example of how a mindset shift can unlock potential. It's amazing what believing in yourself can do.
And what's powerful is these stories aren't just about English. They're about facing challenges, being resilient, finding strength. That's a message for life, not just language.
Absolutely. It's about embracing the journey, ups and downs, and all. The best rewards are often on the other side of what we think we can't do.
Let's take a moment to absorb all that. When we come back, we'll explore how learning English can impact your life in even bigger ways, beyond just the practical stuff.
It's interesting, you know, the deeper we go with this teacher, it's not just about how to learn English. She gets into this like profound impact it can have on your whole life.
It's like a whole other level of motivation, right? She calls English a bridge connecting people, cultures, dreams. It's not just speaking, it's about opening up a world of possibilities.
Such a good metaphor, that bridge idea. Think about it. How many times have you hit a wall, maybe traveling, at work, even with friends, just because of language?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating. You want to connect, understand, share, but that language difference is right there blocking you.
And that's what's so empowering about learning English. It's not just a skill, it's breaking down those barriers. It's understanding each other better, making connections you couldn't before.
Like you get this superpower, suddenly you can talk to people all over the world, learn about different cultures, different ways of thinking. It's amazing.
Exactly. And research even shows it can, like, rewire your brain, makes you more flexible in your thinking, better memory, even boosts empathy. It's a mental workout with crazy good benefits.
I love that. It's not just speaking, it's expanding your mind, becoming more, I don't know, globally minded, a citizen of the world kind of thing.
Right. And she doesn't just talk about this, she uses her students' stories. Remember Ollie? He wanted to be an engineer, work internationally, but his English wasn't good enough.
Oh, yeah. But he worked so hard, practiced every day, and boom, landed his dream job at this global company. Now he uses English every day, talking to colleagues all over the world.
Perfect example of how it opens doors that might have been closed before. Gives you the tools to go after your passions on a global scale, you know?
So inspiring, right? It makes you realize these aren't just stories. They're real lives being changed by learning English.
Absolutely. And it reminds us those opportunities, they're not for some special group. They're for anyone who's willing to put in the work, face those challenges, and most importantly, believe in themselves. Which brings us back to that final method, belief. It really is the foundation, isn't it?
It is. It's the bedrock. Without that deep down knowing you can learn English, it's so easy to give up when it gets tough. And it will get tough, let's be real.
Yeah, learning a new language, it's hard. There will be times you're frustrated, feeling stuck, days you just want to quit.
And that's when that self-belief kicks in. It's that voice in your head reminding you why you're doing this, saying you can do this, you've come so far, keep going.
You got to silence that inner critic, the one saying you're not good enough, you'll never be fluent. Replace it with something positive, something powerful.
Yeah, instead of focusing on what you haven't done yet, look at how far you've already come. Celebrate those little wins. Use that to keep moving forward.
This teacher, she doesn't just tell them to believe, she shows them how. Breaks it down into small steps, celebrates every win, encourages them constantly.
She's building that growth mindset in them, the idea that you can always improve. It's not fixed. It's not about being perfect right away. It's about the effort, enjoying the process.
And finding that joy, that's key. Celebrate the little things, those aha moments when something clicks or you have a real conversation in English. Those are big wins.
It's acknowledging how far you've come and using that to fuel your motivation for the next step. It's about, I don't know, falling in love with the journey, the learning, the growth that comes with a new language.
Because it is a lifelong journey, this language learning thing. It's always evolving, discovering new things. See those challenges as chances to grow. Know that every step, even the tiny ones, they're getting you closer to fluency.
And her message hits so hard because it's bigger than just English. It's about life. It's about resilience, facing those tough things, believing you can achieve anything.
Powerful stuff, right? It's shifting your perspective, seeing setbacks as like stepping stones, the journey itself. That's where the real growth is.
And remember, you are not alone in this. There are tons of people just like you wanting to learn English, to open up those possibilities, connect with the world. And by sharing these stories, these methods, by talking about self-belief, well, we hope it helps you keep going, never give up, reach those goals.
Because it's worth it, truly. Imagine yourself talking confidently, understanding movies and music, expressing your thoughts, all in English. The doors that will open, the people you'll meet, the experiences you'll have, it's all possible. And we believe you can do it.
So before we get to the last part, where we'll focus on some practical tips to keep you going, to make sure you're improving your English every day, take a minute, think about what we've talked about so far. All right, so we've talked about the big picture, right? Now, how do we actually do this? How do we make English a part of our lives, even when motivation isn't always sky high?
It's all about building habits, making English feel natural, not like this extra chore you got to do. Remember Reza, struggling with listening. He just made it a habit, a few minutes each day. Started with stuff he actually enjoyed, like those football podcasts.
Finding that enjoyment, that's huge. It doesn't have to be all grammar books and flashcards, right?
Yeah.
What are some other ways to weave English into your day-to-day?
Think about what you already love doing. Music. Switch to some English language artists, explore new genres, movies, watch them in English, maybe with subtitles at first. Even just changing your phone's language, that's constant exposure without even trying.
That's smart. What about for the bookworms out there?
Reading is awesome for vocab, for getting a feel for how English flows. Start where you're comfortable, whether it's those graded readers, kids' books, even blogs or articles about stuff you like. As long as you enjoy it, that's the key.
And remember, Sarah, starting with just one sentence a day, writing, even a little bit, can make a big difference. Any tips to make that less intimidating?
Start small, like Sarah did. Don't worry about writing a whole essay, just a few sentences about your day, your thoughts, anything. Journaling in English is good too, or find those writing prompts online, get those creative juices flowing. And don't stress about mistakes.
Yeah, sometimes we forget mistakes. They're part of it. We get caught up wanting to sound perfect, but it's those little mess ups, those times we stumble and figure it out. That's how it sticks.
Totally. It's a mindset thing. Don't see mistakes as failures. They're opportunities. Every time you catch yourself messing up, you're basically learning the right way to do it.
So embrace those mistakes. Don't let them hold you back. They're like stepping stones, right? And speaking of steps, remember that mountain analogy. It's the consistent progress, even tiny bits, that gets you to the top.
Building those daily habits, those small wins, that's what adds up. Maybe you learn 5 new words every day, write a paragraph, have a short conversation. It doesn't have to be a lot, just consistent.
And celebrate those wins. Each time you hit a goal, no matter how small, acknowledge it, feel proud. It's amazing how motivating that can be.
And remember, you're not alone in this. There's a whole community of English learners out there going through the same things, sharing tips, supporting each other. Reach out, connect.
Online forums, language partners, conversation groups, it all helps. Makes it more fun, keeps you going. Language is about connecting, so connect with others who love English too.
And as you keep learning, keep that belief strong. Believe you can do it, that you can learn, grow, become fluent. Because when you believe in yourself, anything is possible.
So as we reach the top of English Mountain, here's our takeaway. Enjoy the journey, celebrate every step, and never stop believing in yourself. The world is out there, and with English, you can explore it all. Keep climbing, keep learning, and keep diving deep.
See you next time.